Okay guys, so you know how I occasionally mispronounce this word from time to time? Well, I'm gonna do it a lot in this video. Greetings fellow Vita fans, this is James with PS Vita at 2 AM. You know, that weird YouTube channel that has no business existing, and I'm coming at you once again with another exciting video. And if you're new here and love everything PlayStation Vita, don't forget to subscribe. So I guess in this day and age, it comes as no surprise that we as gamers apparently love to play older versions of consoles we played in the past. It'll be in the history book someday, mark my word. So then I got to thinking to myself, hey, Sony, if Sega can make a Game Gear Micro, which they recently unveiled, then where's the Vita Micro? Dude, that's deep. How did you ever think of that? I read it in a description in this random website. Figures. Hey, the basis of this video is not on how lazy I am, but how cool it would be to have, you know, a small PlayStation Vita. But of course, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Do you think Sony would ever make a PlayStation Vita Micro? Would you purchase something like that? What games would you add to it? Let me know down in the comments section. And I happened to come across this article on the internet that talks just about that very subject. And the website that is PlayStationLifestyle.net. And here's what the article had to read. Forget about the recent plagiarizing I just did. If we've learned anything about the gaming industry in the last few years, it's that people absolutely love tiny versions of the things they brought decades prior. Except for the PlayStation Classic, which doesn't count for the purpose of this flimsy argument. Hey, I'll do the terrible jokes here if you don't mind. That point notwithstanding, it's hard to deny that the proliferation of tiny classic consoles and their marketability, even if you aren't interested in owning a suite of games from years past, the fact that most of these look cool on a shelf or a desk is sometimes more than enough of an excuse. Yeah, that pretty much comes down to being a collector these days. Not that I would know anything about that. Well, Sega is going back to that tiny well once more with the announcement of not one, but 4 versions of the Game Gear Micro. That's all well and fine, but allow me to be the one to ask the tough questions. Where's my PlayStation Vita Micro? The dude has a point. You think I jest, but have no fear, true believers, as this is a real request. The thing recently showed up in the Last of Us Part 2 gameplay video, which I happen to do a video on myself, link up there somewhere in the video. For crying out loud. Fair is fair. I demand that my ridiculous demand for a handheld nobody appreciated, least of all Sony, being turned into a useless, I have no idea what that word is, be taken as seriously as possible. After all, haven't you always wanted the console experience of Call of Duty or Uncharted in the palm of your hand, but like, you know, a lot smaller? Like really small. Imagine the possibilities. And if that doesn't work, then maybe this is the time for a micro-sized classic console. After all, who hasn't wanted an SNES the size of a terrier, or a mini SNK arcade cabinet that's the size of an actual arcade cabinet? It's meta. People love that. Let's just go all the way and introduce the PlayStation Vita Macro, able to easily fit in the palm of one's hand. If you kind of put your hand down flat and maybe balance it against a desk so, you know, the other hand can use the gigantic analog sticks. Here's a picture of what the dude meant to, by the way, and I have to say, I love this picture. I don't know. I'm not some kind of Vita scientist, just an ideas guy. So that's the basic gist of that article. And while yes, he did take this in more of a comical route, not to be taken too seriously, kind of like this channel. But at the same time, it did get me thinking, would we ever have a chance of getting a PlayStation Vita Micro sometime years down the line? I mean, I imagine at this point that the technology would be a little bit too pricey to make something miniature like this in mass production too, no less. But like, let's say another 10-15 years from now, I think the technology would probably be cheap enough to where, yeah, I could totally see them doing a PlayStation Vita Mini someday. Granted, they probably would no doubt have to remove all the bells and whistles from it, like, you know, the online stuff, and it would just play the raw games. Although, knowing Sony and the way they treated the Vita, they probably would do a PSP Mini first, and then maybe license the rights to some sort of third-party company if there was enough demand for it. I mean, hey, you never know. Maybe the PlayStation Vita will actually mean something to Sony, like, you know, 15 to 20 years from now.
Spoiler alert, I don't see that happening.
But either way, it makes for interesting discussion, and that's the reason why I wanted to share this with you all today. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Does a PlayStation Vita Micro make sense? Is it something you would purchase? What games would you add to it? How many games would you add to it? Let me know down in the comment section below. And as always, fellow Vita fans, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It really means a lot to me. Love you all, and I'll see you next time. The following video has been brought to you in part by all of these wonderfully generous people who help make this content possible, including Burzin Mystery, Redoran Aloy, David Ray, Wendy K, Hemdall Imbert, Gutter Drums, Skulshire Tugel TCG, Adam Theory, Pierce Sterner, E-Rock, JR, Kyle Brooks, Saul Ramirez, Phantom XRS, Rodrigo Vera, Aaron Swanson, Heston Joseph, Kevin Enright, Jared Hado, Joshua Williams, Ruben Gutierrez, BMF, Larry Anderson, Mario Cruz, Jelle, Buzz Sayin, Richard Cruz, Dennis R. Huggins Jr., Adam Sondi, Hero Acer, Matt Fox, Neo Arashi, and Reiko Star. If you would be interested in supporting the channel and seeing your name on this end screen here, or if you wish to remain anonymous, that's cool too, then make sure to check the links down in the description below. I have numerous ways for you to do so down there.
Sony hates the PlayStation Vita.
Roll credits.